That's
like
fine.
Seconds.
Nah, I'll stay here. So I've been watching a shit ton of what I like to call the Entenmann's Donut Goatee Segal era films.
Yeah, we watched one last night.
Anything post 2000,
Dude, let me suck off some coffee.
probably 2011 or 12.
Okay.
So the last 4 years of Segal movies, and he's never been like particularly an active guy, but you know, like
Under Siege era, he's in good shape.
He's in Above the Law. First of all, what people don't realize about Segal is that when Above the Law came out, he was already like 34 years old.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a young guy. So his first movie, he was
Right.
already, you know, like getting on. And you
Yeah.
can see his hairline's fucked up in that movie. You know, it's all like thin, you know, in the front. And then in Hard to Kill, his hairline's fixed. And, you know, he's a little bit fatter. And he just got progressively fatter throughout his entire career.
Come on, dude.
It's part of the fucking podcast, Amber.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was
Keep
back in the
talking.
day when you didn't have to be cut.
Yeah. Well, now he's 65 years old. And he's in his 60s.
His body
and
sucks.
He's still making movies where it's like, we need to send our best special forces guy. And then he spends half the movie in a chair. He like refuses to get up. So we watched last night Sniper Special Ops, and there's no colon. It's Sniper Special Ops. And that's because
Sniper Special.
the Tom Berenger Sniper series are not related to Sniper Special Ops. And he does maybe 5 seconds of sniping in the movie. It's right in the beginning. He refuses to take his sunglasses off while looking through the sniper rifle. So he's wearing these dumb fucking like snowboarding sunglasses while like looking down this rifle. And then when they show the enemies in the reticle, they're like 5 feet away. They're taking up the entire scope. So he's probably like 5 feet away from these guys.
So awesome.
And missing. You know, like, I don't know why they let him miss for
When you say
suspense.
he refuses to take it off, you're saying you think Steven Segal, the actor,
Yeah.
is like, no, absolutely not. I'm not getting out of this chair. I'm not taking off my
Yes,
sunglasses.
100%. I guarantee you that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because the thing about all these movies is they're all produced by Steamroller Productions, which he owns.
What? That's like a Chinese.
Oh,
No,
God.
it's
No, he
Steven
owns
Seagal's
that?
company. He owns it with some like
Steamroller?
Indonesian guy or something. Yeah,
It's like when you work at a
Steamroller and
restaurant, you have
Voltage.
to wait on the owner of the restaurant.
Yeah. So, you know, all these people, and then he brings all these fucking old fucks out of retirement. So it's like, you know, like Rob Van Winkle, like dying wrestlers. to be in
Yeah,
the-
it's all like retired WWE
Really?
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
So-
I gotta check this
in
out.
Sniper
Rob Van
Special
Dam.
Ops, you know, it's like
RVD?
RVD's in it. Yeah.
a Sniper Special Ops. He's like
the lingo guy.
I love it.
He's playing like you know, they're part of like this like special ops team, and they're all like in the minimum age is 51 years old. And they're in like Afghanistan somewhere,
Of course.
and then they show their commander, who's a major, and because it
He's
wouldn't
a
make
colonel.
sense, he's a colonel, and it wouldn't make sense if he was like, you know,
Young.
their age, so they have like an 87-year-old man.
In army clothes.
Yes, this fucking decrepit old man in an army uniform, and he's like, "Well, I don't know if we can get up that mountain by sunrise. I had a divining rod tells me there's gold in them hills, you know," and it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It's so. I mean, Seagal is like he literally puts such minimum effort into the action. Like the way he fires the gun is like I
Yeah.
can't even describe it.
He
Like
just sort of
for the
lazily,
podcast.
like, yeah.
He's just like limp wristedly fire the gun, like not even looking where he's shooting.
Yeah. No, there's
it's
there's
so
one
good.
scene in Sniper Special Ops where he's working some radio and he's just sort of lazily pointing the gun at the window next to him in case anyone comes, because it's understood that he never really has to aim the gun.
Oh yeah, his partner also gets shot, and he needs to drag him away. And it's clear that he's like connected to like some sort of wire.
Yeah.
and like you see him
And
pulling the guy,
Steven
but
Seagal's
he's
just
like
touching,
literally
'cause there's
he's
no
just
tension
touching
in
his shoulder.
clothes.
Yeah,
And then the fucking body moves across the ground as Seagal is touching.
Oh, I'm
That's
so
really good.
jealous. I
I literally almost peed my pants.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Anything post 2012 is like this.
And he's got one of those.
Oh,
like,
and he talks like a black person now.
Yeah, well, that started with Glimmerman and it's progressed where now he talks like a slave.
he's like he's a jazz man now. Yeah.
Oh hell, you know these motherfuckers don't have the patience.
He's
for
Prop Joe. He talks like
how
Prop
to-
Joe.
Yeah.
I got a proposition for you.
Well, I already told these motherfuckers if they want any of my business, they're gonna have to come around here, cut me off a little some of that.
That's
You know,
so
maybe
fucking
we'll
good.
maybe do a little mission here in a minute.
He should play a
like,
black
no,
guy in the
Steven.
next.
Yeah, he should.
He could.
Well, he plays a
yeah.
black guy in Glimmerman. That's like, for whatever reason, he stops being Chinese and he's black in that movie.
It is a cool type of older black guy, like the older black. We were talking about this last night. The older black guy that's really into Asian shit,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
sort of
the original anime nerd. He would
which
have
is
been
the precursor.
Yeah.
It's the precursor
Right,
to
the
that. You
precursor.
know, like 19.
The
when-
John the
Yeah, in the
Baptist.
70s when Kung Fu movies blew up, like there was
Yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of black guys that got into
Absolutely.
martial
Wu-Tang.
arts.
Wu-Tang.
That's the kind of the birth of black nerds.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang is responsible for a lot of black
lot of
nerd
black
culture.
nerd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, so he has just become one of those older black men that's into Asian stuff.
Yeah.
But eventually,
I want
don't
to
know.
see him do a full blackface movie.
Yeah.
I think if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be him.
Well, there's what's on the queue is Asian Connection, which I want to watch with him.
What a fucking retarded name.
Yeah.
I wonder what the connection is in that. What it's
It's the
referring to.
connection between Steven Seagal and the dialysis machine. It's the fucking stint in his arm.
Yeah, they go like through his like special ops dossier, like on the computer, and there's a picture of him young. And we were joking around last night.
It's
about,
from
like,
a movie. It's from another movie from
it's
like 30 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's from like fucking.
It's in the same universe. They're all in the same
In
universe.
the cover for Sniper Special Ops, they've just photoshopped his fat head on someone else's body.
Yes.
As poorly as they possibly
Oh
could.
man,
That's so
I love his
awesome.
Yeah.
fat head.
No, they fucking pump these movies out. The other one we watched the other night, A Good Man.
That's barely a title.
It's all 3 words too. Yeah.
A Good Man, yeah. Where he plays
Does he play the good man?
Yeah, he's the good man. Of
course.
And so basically the plot is this. He's like some kind of ex-special. It's always ex-special forces.
Right.
And he's living
can't
in Bucharest. And he just has an apartment, and he's been tracking this weapons dealer that got away when he murdered all these people that killed his partner. They have a flashback scene in the beginning where you see him sneaking into some building, just fatly going around corners, while his special ops partner, who looks like a fucking homeless person. This guy's like, again, 57, 60 years old, emaciated, shitty, like fucking, like Civil War general, like
Fu Manchu type
yeah,
shit.
yeah, that kind of shit, like McClellan. That's what he
Yes,
looks like.
yes.
And he's like, we got to get into you got 2 tangos on your left,
Yeah.
This homeless guy in the woods on Overwatch, and Steven Seagal, and then like a thing blows up and some girl dies, and so he's upset, so he wants to go find this weapons dealer who's a Chinese guy, and he's in Bucharest, and he's like killing these Russian gangsters, and his calling card when he kills them is he leaves some incense on the ground and then just scribbles some bullshit in Chinese, and so
Oh god.
his neighbor, who's this woman who's like having trouble getting into her apartment one day and has like a young girl with her, he's like, need a little help, and then he just breaks into her apartment for her or whatever. And then they're in there and he's like, your kid's nice or whatever. And she's like, yes, I love my sister. And then you see, like, that's supposed to be, like, let you know, like, yeah, her pussy isn't ruined. That's her sister. That's not her daughter. And then Seagal's like, your sister, huh? And he's like,
They make
Yeah.
these
Wouldn't have
young
fucked her
actors.
before.
yeah. That's what the implication is. And then and then the plot gets really fucking convoluted. Where
Awesome.
so the arms dealer is doing a deal with the Russian mob, who he's not really interested in, but the Russian mob owns the neighbor and the sister because her dad owed them money. So when the dad died, she had to become a bartender in their strip club, not a stripper.
Not a whore.
Not a
by the way.
whore,
Not
yeah.
a prostitute.
They just make her be a bartender.
It's pure.
But then she still has a really nice apartment,
Yeah.
And,
the Russian mafia sounds pretty reasonable.
Right,
dude.
yeah. So the Russian mafia loses all their money or something, and they owe money to the arms dealer.
Oh,
and so
God.
instead of giving him the money, they're like, we will give you the girl instead.
So
And
she's their slave?
they're a slave, basically, but the arms dealer, like, I don't know why he would want a girl. He's like, no, it's $2 million. I don't want just some fucking middle-aged Romanian woman, And then he's like, deal. And then they bring the little girl instead of like the main one. And he's like, well, I guess I can sell her to a pedophile. So he lines up a sale with a pedophile. And then the pedophile shows up.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then
There's 3 human transactions in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. And then Seagal shows up with this other guy. He does this thing now where he brings a younger martial artist in, and they do the majority of the ass kicking. Then so Seagal does barely nothing. Seagal meets the younger guy, and he's like, "All right, I'll help you, but you got to do everything my way." And then the guy does everything for himself. Seagal does literally nothing. They save the guy, or they save the girl, and then at the end of the movie, the neighbor is just like, basically like, well, I can't thank you enough, and then he just fucks her. He just fucks the woman, even though there's been no romantic connection between the two. He's older than her by 40 years.
They make these poor young actresses.
I was gonna say how
that
much
are
fucking
never
does
gonna
he
get
fuck
any
every
other.
time?
Well, the fucking scene is him fully clothed while she's naked and he's just touching her body.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't. He's still wearing his sunglasses.
God damn,
And that's
so
Steven
awesome.
Seagal's definition of a good man.
Yeah, that's the good man. Fuck, man, I want to watch this. I'm jealous.
Dude, they're so good.
Do they ever say "good man" in the movie?
No, they don't.
That's a big
Oh, that
disappointment.
sucks.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean,
a
they're filled
letdown.
with like basically every trope that from the '80s. Like there's another one I watched, Code of Honor, last night, and it opens up with like a bunch of different types of gangs meeting in some meeting area. So there's bikers, and then like
Yakuza.
cholos, and then black eyes, and then Russians, and they meet, and they of course have briefcases, and they're like, "You got the stuff," and it's like, "I want to see the money first."
Right,
Right.
right.
And it's like, I don't even know where you buy a suitcase anymore.
Yeah.
Like that, how much that the props department spent days looking for a suitcase to put that money in.
This is like an anecdote, like a triple, filtered down anecdote. It was Sylvester Stallone on a different podcast, but still, we're talking about Seagal. He said, Stallone said that he was like in Hollywood or whatever, and he saw Seagal crying. It was at a studio. He saw Seagal crying on like a stoop, and he was just like, he's like, "What are you crying? What are you crying for, Steven?"
What are you crying about?
Yeah, and he's like, "I just read the most beautiful screenplay I've ever read in my life." And there's like, "Oh my God, who wrote it?" And he's like, "I did." And I just choose to believe that's true.
Yeah,
That's
why not?
100%
Right.
true. Yeah,
Well,
you
I
can't
was
tell
saying,
me.
I tweeted at him, I really want to write a movie where Steven Seagal kills James Bond. And I don't
You
want to
get
license
Putin
James
to
Bond.
produce
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
You could make
Yeah.
that in Russia. And there could
He's
be
best friends with Putin
Yeah.
already.
You could do it, and you just imply really heavily that it's James Bond without.
No,
ever
I want to
saying it.
use the name James Bond. Who's this James Bond motherfucker? Nobody says their name twice to me. I'm Guilan.
Can we just make a shitty action movie?